Hello guys and welcome to my another video, and today we're going to talk about part 2 of this very interesting videos I'm making about the gerrymandering in America. And I just want to start with now the part 2 in Minnesota, because Minnesota, as you can see, it's a 4-3 state for the Democrats, and this is a perfect state in terms of how fair it is, because the Democrats have a slightly advantage in the vote here, and they also have a slightly advantage in the districts right now. This is a very interesting state, so you can see that the margins are great. The Republicans actually can win in a better year, in a very great year as well. The second district is very tough. Then I'll move to Iowa. Iowa is a state it's not fair. The Democrats should have at least one. Yeah, one is fair. 3-1, it's a fair separation. The Democrats don't have one. They have they are competitive in two, which is the first and the third, and they're gonna win these two districts in next year's elections. At least that's my expectation. They're gonna win, and they'll end up 2-2. But this is a slightly Republican state, so actually the fairest, if you will, it's 3-1 separation. Then you move to Missouri. This is a state that should have at least one Democratic seat, at least one more Democratic seat. But it's not easy to draw districts here in order to. You can split St. Louis, you probably can split Kansas City, but it's not easy to get Democratic seats in Missouri because of the geography and everything. The Democratic votes are very concentrating in two areas, so that's not easy to get districts. Right now, the Republicans are trying to get rid of Kansas City district. It's very easy to get rid of this one. It's just split in two or split in three, and then you're gonna get rid of that. So it doesn't matter. This is not democratic, but this is another question for another video. What matters right now is the Republicans are gonna get rid of that district here, because St. Louis here is impossible to get rid. I think you can with a lot of gerrymandering, but it's very tough. Arkansas, the Democrats say they should have at least one. But it's not easy to get one Democratic district. You probably can if you put like Little Rock, Hot Springs, and Jonesboro, and you go to Texarkana. But it's not easy to get. This is a state that I understand on the way it's built, but it's still a state that we'll see. It's not easy, if you will. Louisiana, I think it's great for two. I think it's a great separation. Even though this one was I think the court asked for the state house of Louisiana to draw this district here to favor the Democrats. As you can see here, they go from Shreveport to Alexandria to Baton Rouge, and then you get all the cities together, and then you form a Democratic seat. Then you go to Mississippi. Mississippi right now, I think it's fair. 3-1 is fairer than 2-2, so I think that one is great. You have all the cities here in this part, also a lot of black communities. That's why it's more democratic. Then you go to Alabama. I think it's also fair. A 3-4-3. It's not, but I think right now it's better 5-2 than 4-3. But you can have two districts right now. I don't think the Democrats cannot have a single more, even if they have a great night. So that one is gone. But I think it's a fair map overall. Georgia, it's not a fair map at all. The Democrats should have more seats here. As you can see, they only have 5 right now in 14, but they should have at least 7 out. Not 7, or 6 or 7. I think that's fair for the Democrats in Georgia, or even 5. But right now, 4 or even 6 or 7, it's the fairest you could have. Right now, I don't think this is fair at all. But it's not easy. You can draw a district like from Savannah to Augusta, probably, and that will get a Democratic district. But you split Augusta and Savannah in two, so you get 2 Republican districts. And this one here, the black communities in Georgia are shifting to the Republican side as well. So this one, Sanford Bishop could lose the seat. He's very old, actually. He's so probably, but I don't know that if he is gonna retire or not. That will move to Florida, and this is a completely gerrymandered Republican. The Democrats should have more seats. As you can see here, they split Jacksonville in 2, so you can have 2 Republican seats instead of a Democratic and a Republican seat. They split basically in 2. They also the district was from Tallahassee and from Jackson to Jacksonville, and then they basically redrawn everything. Ron DeSantis did a great job in gerrymandering it, but it's not correct. But that's another point. They also put here a very interesting map. They put all the Democratic areas in Tampa and St. Pete to a single district, and they made all the other districts around that a much more Republican district friendly district. Also, the swing in Florida is a huge thing in all terms, as you can see here. Carlos Jimenez and also Maria Elvira Salazar won by 20 points. She just won by 2 or 3 in the first election. Now she's winning by 20. So you can see how Florida has been shifting and probably going to continue shifting. I don't know. We'll see about that. Then I'll move to South Carolina. I think this one is not fair for the Democrats as a whole. They should have at least one more seat in South Carolina to be fair. North Carolina is another different state. The Republicans, the Democrats should have at least 1 or 2 more seats here because this is not easy. I know they lost at least 3. They lost 3 seats in the last election because I think this was redrawn again. But this is not easy. I think they can get more seats in the wave election, but still, you put Durham together and also Raleigh, and then you split, as you can see here, they split Winston-Salem as well to get a better for the Republicans. Tennessee is gerrymandered a lot. The Democrats should have 1 more seat at least, probably 2 more seats, but one is very easy to get, just the Nashville seat. They got rid of that in the past, and then Jim Cooper, the incumbent from Nashville, was a state representative from the Democratic Party, is now gone because of that, because he chose not to run for election because he knew he would lose. Kentucky is also gerrymandered at a certain degree, but it's not easy to get seats for the Democratic Party. So I understand at some point you cannot get you can put together Frankfort, Lexington, and Covington probably, but still you're gonna have a Republican district still. So this is not easy to get a Democratic district in Kentucky. Now you move to Illinois, the most gerrymandered state of all. The Republicans should have at least 8 seats. I would say 8 seats. Not 8, but 7 seats they should have, and they only have 3, so that is not fair at all. You can see all the seats stretching out of Chicago, and then you have this very weird shape, as you can see here, from the 17th and also the 13th. And you have basically only 3 Republican seats. You should have more. It's not easy at all, but you can have more if you want. This is Wisconsin. Then the Democrats are saying this is gerrymandered. Yes, I agree at some point, but it's not easy to get a Republican Democratic seat here. This is the Democratic seat here around Eau Claire. You can have a Democratic seat next year's election, but it's not an easy state to get seats. Also, in a wave year, you can get the 3rd and the 1st, but it's not easy to get Democratic because of the geography. The Democratic votes are all concentrated in Madison and Milwaukee, so it's not easy. This is now Michigan. The Democrats have 6 districts, and the Republicans have 7, as you know. This was split, but I think this is a very interesting map. This is a very fair map, if you will, because this could end up 7-6 or 7-6 for both sides, and I think that's fair. Now I'll move to Ohio, and Ohio is also gerrymandered a lot. I just want to say that the Democrats should have more seats here, at least 1, probably 1 seat. That's fair, but it's easy to get a seat. It is. Look, Marcy Kaptur, if she decides to retire, she'll be gone fast, and then it will become even more gerrymandered. And I don't know how he can do it in Ohio, but that is not a fair map at all. In West Virginia, this is the fair map. I know Democrats are saying they don't deserve 1 seat. They don't deserve 50-50. The Trump won here by 40 points. 40 points. No, I think it was 50 points. 50 or 40 points. So this was a huge state for Trump. So I don't think this is needed in terms of more seat for the Democratic Party, because otherwise it'll be 1-1. That doesn't matter. That is not correct. Virginia, I think it is a fair map, if you will. 5 seats to 6. I think that's fair. And the Democrats in a wave here, they can get this one here, the 2nd district, and the other ones are completely for the Republican Party, so I don't have anything to say. Maryland is also gerrymandered to favor the Democratic Party. The Republicans should have at least 1 more seat. I think that's correct. Right now, you can have this seat here if you put a little. If you don't stretch it out of here, if you go there, you can have a Republican seat. But you go straight out to I think Montgomery County here, and you go stretch it out to there because you want to have a more Democratic seat, and that is not correct, and that is not fair for the Republican Party. And you go to Pennsylvania, and this one is very interesting. The Republicans have at least 10 seats, and the Democrats have 7. It's not correct, but the map is fair. It's fair in the terms, as you can see, because in a in a year, the Republicans won two. If you wanna if you wanna characterize this map, I think I would consider it as fair because in a big year for the Democrats, they can still have this seat here, the 10th. They can still have this one and that one, and also this one if Brian Fitzpatrick retires. I think they can get a lot. They can have at least four more seats, and that will put the Democrats into 11 to 6, and that will be a very great thing for the Democrats. So this is a kind of a not a gerrymandered state overall, but you can have a very strong Republican as it is right now, a very strong Democratic as you can have also. This is a gerrymandered state, I would call it that way, because the Republicans should have at least two more seats. It should be 5-7. That is a better separation, especially now that New Jersey is shifting a lot to the right, and it's probably going to continue shifting. And the demographics are changing. New York is also a gerrymandered state. I'm sorry, but you also have a redrawing of the lines. That's why we have three Republicans that lost their seats in New York last year's election. And this one needs to be redrawn. You should have a more Republican friendly map because this one is not fair at all, especially now the Republicans are taking a lot of ground in New York as well as they're shifting in New Jersey, New York, and also in the very Democratic states. Connecticut. It's not easy to draw a Republican seat here in Connecticut, but you're going to have one, and the Republicans deserve to have one, if you will. Then you will move to Rhode Island. Rhode Island don't even deserve to have two seats. They should have only one seat. They also only have three electoral votes. They still have four, which is not correct because as you can see, the district have very small amount of votes, 200,000 votes here and 250,000. The districts you have districts in Texas and in PA who has over 400,000 votes, and here you have one seat with only 210 and 250. So this one should be only one seat. Rhode Island is not getting population as much as Texas, as Florida, so Texas and Florida should gain seats, and this one should lose at least so far. But I think this right now is as the best as it can be. Massachusetts, I'm not saying this is not gerrymandered. I know the Republicans don't have one seat, but they don't have geography to get one seat. The Republicans are not great in Massachusetts, as you know, but it's very tough to get one district here. The only one they have is the ninth, but still it's very tough. You need to have a very great year for them to win the ninth. So this one here, I know it sounds bad. The Republicans should have at least in terms of they should have two seats or even three seats, but at this point it's very tough to get at least one seat in the state of Massachusetts. And you go to Vermont, is at large, doesn't matter. You go to New Hampshire, I think it's pretty fair. The Republicans can have two seats in terms of a. So New Hampshire, you don't have anything to say about New Hampshire. I think it's fair. The Republicans have two seats in terms of a red wave here, and the Democrats could have two. I know you can create a very Republican district. You cannot, because this one is still Republican. You can put all the areas here that are more Republican, but still, I think this is a fair map, if you will. And they may have also a fair map. This one should be Republican when Jaron Golden retires, and also this one will be Democratic forever. Not forever, but at least for the time being. And Maine is also fair. So, in conclusion, you can see that the maps are not fair at all. Majority of the states have gerrymanders for both parties, and I think we should emphasize how important it is that the states are not gerrymandered for democracy to work. You could have a proportional per state. That will mean you're gonna have doesn't matter. It only matters the percentage. Doesn't matter the land basically. You could have that system as well in the United States. I don't know if that's against the Constitution at this point. I'm just gonna say that this is not a map that represents the will of the American people as a whole. I think I didn't talk about Indiana now that I'm remembering, but Indiana is a fair state right now. The Democrats could have this seat here that they can have in a wave year, but the rest is very fair. And you should understand that the map is not fair. California is not fair. Texas is not fair. Florida is not fair. New York is not fair. Connecticut is not fair at all. Pennsylvania is not. Pennsylvania. I'm sorry. Michigan. Tennessee is not fair. Oklahoma is not fair. Utah is not fair. So you have a lot of states that are not fair to the candidates. But at this point, it's not bad at all. I mean, the Democrats should not gerrymander in Illinois, in California, in New Mexico, in Oregon, in Washington, and not try to hide into those so-called independent commissions that are not independent at all. In California, they're just a couple of liberal guys, and they just do what the hell they want there, and they call it as a independent commission, but they're not independent at all. And the Republicans should also not try to gerrymander states like Texas right now because they want to add 5 seats, or not Florida, or even Missouri, or even Indiana. They don't need to do that. They don't have to do that, and they should not do that, because democracy is the voters choosing the representatives. It's not representatives choosing the voters. Thomas Hoffler was a very important character and person in this situation, because he was the creator of this map in North Carolina in 2017 and for 2018 midterm elections, as you know, and he was a creator of very gerrymandered maps for the Republican Party. But that time is over. He's dead, and we should start focusing on democracy and not in trying to dilute other people's will and just basically get what we want, and that is not great at all. That's my opinion here. I think both parties they should be ashamed of what they've done in so many states here, and this is not a map that represents the very best will of the American people. Republicans in Connecticut, they think they have to have at least one seat, one person representing them in Congress. Probably in Oklahoma, the Democrats are thinking the same. But that's the hard truth about all of this, is that probably all the interests are being represented in Congress as they should be, and that's a very interesting question for you to think about. So see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and leave your like, and see you in the next. Thank you.